The wind, a dry, rasping breath, scoured the valley floor, whipping fine dust into a perpetual haze. It clawed at the tattered banners of the Khwarazmian army, snapping them taut against the bruised Afghan sky. Here, in the narrow defile north of Ghazni, the very earth seemed to conspire, its jagged peaks and sudden ravines a labyrinth waiting to be sprung. This was Parwan, 1221, and a silence, heavy with the promise of slaughter, clung to the air, broken only by the nervous shifting of horses and the metallic whisper of drawn steel. Every man felt it, the oppressive weight of an empire's last stand, poised on the precipice of annihilation. Below, the ground was a patchwork of hard-baked earth and treacherous, loose scree, an unforgiving stage for the coming storm. Jalal ad-Din, the last Shah of a crumbling dynasty, scanned the horizon, his face etched with the grim resolve of a man who had seen his world burn. His army, a desperate assemblage of veterans and refugees, numbered perhaps 30,000, dwarfed by the approaching tempest. But where others saw only overwhelming odds, Jalal ad-Din saw opportunity. His eyes, sharp and calculating, traced the contours of the valley, a natural choke point. The Mongols, under the fearsome Shigi Kutuku, a general steeped in the Khan's own blood, were expected to thunder through this pass, confident in their numbers and their unbroken string of victories. They would anticipate a rout, another easy conquest. Jalal ad-Din would give them a nightmare. His tactical genius was not born of abstract theory, but of brutal necessity. He had studied the Mongol war machine, witnessed its terrifying efficiency firsthand. Their strength lay in relentless cavalry charges, swift flanking maneuvers, and overwhelming archery volleys that rained death from afar. But their strength was also their weakness. They thrived on open plains, where their mobility was unhindered. Here, in the constricted confines of Parwan, that mobility would become a liability. Jalal ad-Din positioned his forces with surgical precision. The main body of his infantry and dismounted cavalry formed a bristling shield across the narrowest part of the valley, their ranks deep, their spears and swords a gleaming wall. Behind them, hidden from the Mongol scouts by a low ridge and the swirling dust, he arrayed his elite cavalry, their mounts restless, their riders grimly silent. Along the steeper slopes that flanked the valley, archers were meticulously placed, camouflaged amongst the rocks and scrub. These were not mere skirmishers, they were sharpshooters, tasked with raining down a focused, devastating fire into the Mongol ranks once they were committed to the attack. Their arrows were not just weapons, they were the teeth of a trap. The air thrummed with the distant rumble, a sound that grew steadily, inexorably, into a terrifying roar. The ground trembled. Then, through the dust haze, they appeared, the Mongol vanguard, a dark, surging tide of horsemen, their banners snapping, their war cries a guttural symphony of conquest. They came on, a relentless wave, their faces impassive, their bows already strung. Shigi Kutuku, arrogant in his unbroken record, expected the Khwarazmians to break, to scatter like chaff before the wind. He ordered a frontal assault, a hammer blow designed to shatter the enemy's will. The Mongol charge slammed into the Khwarazmian lines with the force of a tidal wave striking a sea wall. Steel shrieked against steel. The air erupted with the clang of swords, the thud of arrows, the guttural shouts of men locked in a primal struggle. But the Khwarazmian line, though bending, did not break. Jalal ad-Din's men, knowing this was their last stand, fought with a desperate ferocity born of despair and defiance. Every inch of ground was contested, every life dearly bought. The Mongols, accustomed to easy victories, found themselves mired in a brutal, grinding melee, their superior numbers negated by the constricted terrain. Their flanking maneuvers, usually so devastating, were choked off by the steep slopes, their cavalry unable to gain the momentum required for their signature sweeping attacks. Then the trap began to spring. From the hidden ridges, the Khwarazmian archers unleashed their storm. Arrows hissed through the air, a deadly swarm descending upon the tightly packed Mongol ranks. Horses screamed, men fell, their armor offering little protection against the plunging shafts. The Mongols, trapped between the unyielding Khwarazmian line and the relentless rain of arrows, began to falter. Confusion rippled through their ranks. They were being bled, slowly, agonizingly, by an enemy they had deemed already defeated. Shigi Kutuku, enraged by the unexpected resistance, committed more of his forces, attempting to overwhelm the Khwarazmian center. But Jalal ad-Din had anticipated this. As the Mongol pressure intensified, he gave the signal. From behind the main line, his elite cavalry, held in reserve, surged forward. They did not charge directly into the Mongol front, but instead wheeled, executing a perfectly timed counterflank, slamming into the exposed Mongol flanks that were already reeling from the archer fire. The impact was devastating. The Mongol formation, already compressed and disoriented, shattered like glass. The Khwarazmian cavalry, swords flashing, carved bloody paths through the reeling enemy. The battle devolved into a chaotic, swirling vortex of death. Horses collided, men grappled in the dust, their lives extinguished in a single brutal thrust. The air thickened with the metallic tang of blood and the acrid smoke of battle. For 2 days the battle raged. Each Mongol assault met an unyielding wall of Khwarazmian defiance. Each attempted flanking maneuver was countered, each retreat harassed by archers and cavalry. The Mongols, whose strategy relied on speed and shock, found themselves bogged down, their discipline eroding under the relentless pressure of a desperate enemy. On the second day, Jalal ad-Din executed his final, decisive stroke. He withdrew his main line, feigning a retreat, drawing the Mongols deeper into the valley. Shigi Kutuku, seeing an opportunity to finally break the stubborn resistance, pressed the attack, his cavalry surging forward, eager to finish the job. It was a fatal miscalculation. As the Mongols poured into the now wider section of the valley, Jalal ad-Din's hidden reserves, fresh and furious, exploded from their concealed positions. From the left, heavy cavalry thundered down a hidden ravine, smashing into the Mongol right flank. From the right, foot soldiers who had scrambled up the treacherous slopes overnight launched a surprise attack from above, raining down javelins and rocks, disrupting the Mongol formation from an unexpected quarter. The Khwarazmian main line, which had only feigned retreat, suddenly wheeled about, reforming with terrifying speed, and crashed back into the Mongol vanguard. The Mongols were caught in a vice. Their lines buckled, then broke. The sheer weight of the Khwarazmian counterattack, executed with perfect timing and ferocious resolve, ripped through their formations. Panic, a sensation alien to the Mongol war machine, began to spread. Their vaunted discipline dissolved into desperate individual struggles for survival. Shigi Kutuku fought with the fury of a cornered beast, but even his personal bravery could not stem the tide. The ground became a bloody mire, churned by hooves and littered with the fallen. The Mongols, for the first time in memory, were not merely repulsed, they were decimated. As the sun dipped below the rugged peaks, casting long crimson shadows across the valley, the sounds of battle began to subside, replaced by the groans of the wounded and the triumphant, ragged cheers of the Khwarazmians. Shigi Kutuku, his forces shattered, his pride in tatters, was forced to order a full retreat, abandoning his dead and wounded on the field. The Mongol banners, once symbols of unstoppable conquest, now limped away, tattered and disgraced. The immediate aftermath was one of stunned disbelief. The invincible Mongols had been decisively defeated. The news of Parwan rippled through the war-torn lands like a shockwave, igniting sparks of hope in the hearts of those who had resigned themselves to Mongol dominion. For a brief, glorious moment, the tide had been turned. Jalal ad-Din, the last Shah, had achieved what no other commander had managed. He had met the Mongol war machine head-on and broken it. Though this victory would prove to be a temporary reprieve in the broader sweep of Mongol conquest, Genghis Khan himself would soon arrive to avenge the humiliation. Its strategic significance was immense. Parwan shattered the myth of Mongol invincibility. It proved that with brilliant tactics, intimate knowledge of the terrain, and unyielding courage, the seemingly unstoppable horde could be halted, even defeated. It was a beacon, a moment of fierce defiance that resonated across Asia, inspiring resistance, delaying further Mongol advances for a crucial period, and reminding a terrified world that even the greatest empires could bleed. The dust of Parwan settled, but the legacy of its victory, however fleeting, burned bright. A testament to the power of human will against overwhelming odds. A battle that, for a precious moment, stopped the Mongol advance.